Welcome to the Innovation Squadcast. If you're looking for a podcast about instructional strategies enhanced by technology, you came to the right place. In our conversations, we'll talk to tech experts, share ideas and strategies to help you build your toolbox with tools that you can use in your class immediately.
We're here at Berkeley Intermediate at the ITOW in a unveil. What did you guys think when you first saw it?
I was like, oh my gosh, podcast show. I'm like, what is this? I'm not a robot person.
What was your first impressions when you saw it?
I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on now? Because I saw the lights automatically. And I'm
yeah?
If I see lights, I know it's going to be cool.
You see LED lights, you know it's gonna. That's a good way to think about things. With a couple of students from Berkeley Intermediate talking about innovation technology wheels. So when you move up a little bit, though, move a little closer, right? So we can get in there. What were your first thoughts when you saw the truck?
I thought there was going to be a heck ton of technology.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have never done this before. I'm really excited.
Good.
I wasn't here yesterday.
Right.
And I was like, what is this? What is this? I see a bunch of robots and I was like, yes.
Yes.
I'm super excited.
What else were your first thoughts?
I played VR.
My first thoughts were wow, this is an opportunity.
Absolutely.
It's a very exciting opportunity to do things.
Because I didn't know if y'all were ever going to do this again. This is an opportunity that our class actually got to do.
All right, welcome to the Innovation Squadcast. We are here talking about the ITOW truck and driving innovation, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about this because I've actually been waiting on this question for the longest time on how did the ITOW truck come about and its origin story, and then where did that all start?
Yeah, our team is thrilled to have ITOW finally here. Innovative technology on wheels has been a long time in the making.
Yeah, years.
Yeah, years. It's been about almost 3 years. I think in 2019, we wrote the grant for innovative technology on wheels, and Google funded the grant. So it was really exciting opportunity for us to be able to bring technologies to schools all over Berkeley County.
Yeah, really just started out with a conversation about, where could we be innovative beyond what we're currently doing, thinking outside of the box and really looking at how to kind of overcome the digital divide, I guess, where some schools have and some schools don't have access to the sorts of technology that we have on the truck.
Right.
Some of it's big, and we've been talking about, getting it around is difficult. So, hey, why don't we kind of put together, what would it look like if we did this on a more of a mobile platform and you'd use SketchUp to kind of communicate, and get what's in our heads down on a screen,
right? Use
that to present to, in the grant so that concept was had more of a visual, and then kind of just went from there. Yeah. Contracted with a company to actually build the truck.
Right.
And, that's kind of where we lost a little bit of momentum because soon thereafter, after Priscilla and I had, gotten with this company and kind of had things going, COVID hit.
Right.
And it really messed up the progress that we would have seen, shutdowns. And then there were supply chain shortages. I mean, it was just one thing after another.
Right.
And kind of it was years
of
waiting. So,
but it's here.
It is here. And that access and equity was really one of the driving factors behind the grant.
Right.
And when we think about the technology that Phil was mentioning earlier, the cost is tremendous.
Yeah.
If we want the latest and the greatest technologies and really helping our kids to begin seeing some career connections and to see how they can utilize some of those work and life skills using the technology, it's important that we have really up-to-date technology. So we're able to afford that in one little scoop. So we think about it's all housed there on the truck. And so we're able to bring that to folks. So then each school is not trying to purchase their own set of this type of technology.
Right.
And we didn't want just a vehicle that we could, we could have just gotten a box van and used it to transport.
Right.
We have those here in the technology department, but we really wanted to have a a truck that was not only a vehicle that could transport this equipment, but also we could just have an instructional space right there with it.
So you got to kind of design the truck and come up with some plans and things like that and work with, so they kind of modified the truck to fit what you guys wanted to do, or
not really. I mean, what we created
here.
Right.
You know, and proposed to them, they kind of rolled with it. It was in their experience, it was the first time that this company had built a truck with a deploying stage.
I got you.
Side deck,
right,
which is kind of unique to them. So we did have to kind of go back and forth with them on some of the design aspects of the truck.
Right.
But, you know, really what we had envisioned came to fruition.
That's awesome.
This flexible learning zones is really what we were looking for.
Right.
Yep.
And so Phil mentioned the stage. We wanted a place for demonstrations for students to be able to create and work, even for them to be able to have presentations later. And then, you know, the outside of the truck, you want to talk to them about that?
Yeah. So, you know, we have to, the whole wrap needs to be designed, and you know, we really needed some creative inspiration on that. And it's not going to come from me. So we were working with the students from the Hanahan High School. They have a graphic arts class. Jason Brummer's the teacher there. And at the time we got together with them and we said, hey, look, here's help us with the logo. That we didn't even have a logo. We came up with the, you know, ITOW, the Innovative Technology on Wheels. But we said, look, we need to put this together into something that's create our logo.
Right.
And then, of course, help us with a wrap that's eye-catching. And the students were great. It was a great real-world kind of experience for them, treating us just like a real customer, and us as the customers, working with them just like they were a real company. The kids were, I mean, it wasn't like working with high school kids.
Right.
It was,
and then we were able to then partnership with somebody else to actually get the wrap happen. We talk about that partnership with Home Telecom
to fund it. I just want to add on a little bit
Sure.
to what Phil was mentioning with these kids. One of the drivers that we see inside of the truck is a visual. And the visual is of the engineering design process. And that was such an authentic experience working with these kids on the design of the logo and the wrap. And they were able to kind of go through that process because first they presented something and we provided feedback. The team, you know, had some different ideas, and then they went back to the drawing board and made it better. And eventually we came out with a product that we all, you know, were thrilled.
Absolutely. The truck looks great. So.
Fortunately, some of those kids have graduated.
Hopefully they're in the career now.
But some of them are still there at the school. So we'll be going out to the school here in the next week or two to kind of roll up and let them see it. And we'll use it too, since it's a graphic arts class. We're gonna do we have 2 laser cutters on our truck, so we'll do some project with them and have them
that'd be great.
Experience that. But
well, Google Community Grant really funded the main portion of this innovative technology on wheels.
Right.
But the partnership with Home Telecom helped us really to create some excitement and to be able to wrap the truck with the design from Hanahan High School students. They also provided us some money for supplies and technologies that are located on the truck, as well as they were able to help with fuel. And we all know the rising fuel costs, that's much needed.
Of course, we get the truck, wait years, and now fuel prices, because it's probably no shocker that the truck likes its gas.
Yes, it does.
So it's good to have the support with that as well.
Absolutely.
So that we can get around to some of our schools that are quite a distance from here.
So I was able to sit down with Lila and Hester. So we're going to have an interview with her. She's from Google, and then
Home Telecom, Gina
Schuler. And so we're going to have also be able to listen to that partnership and just how important it was for them to help us and how excited they were to help us. It was really nice to be able to sit down and talk to them. So welcome to the Innovation Squadcast.
Thank you.
You want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Hi, everyone. My name is Lila and Hester. I head up Southeast External Affairs for Google.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for being here and joining us, helping make all this happen. And
happy to be here.
What I guess the biggest thing is, what are you hoping that, what what do the kids need with technology and careers and those types of things? What do you think they need with this that we can bring to them with this truck?
First of all, the STEM, I call it the STEM Mobile,
Yeah.
is a wonderful asset, not just to the Berkeley County School District, but also for the state, and
Yep.
showing the importance of STEM on the road. Going to places in the community that may not have access to what you all are bringing on the road.
Right.
As you know, and research really shows that if you don't reach kids by middle school and make sure that they are engaged and they love science and they love math and they love engineering, it's really, really hard to get them back into science later on.
I got you. Right.
So by having this demo bill, you'll be able to reinforce the messages that the teachers are already teaching in the school district,
Absolutely.
but just in a fun and different way.
Sure.
You know,
Absolutely.
we like to highlight that science is fun and math is fun.
Absolutely.
It's actually fun when it's more hands-on.
Right.
I remember being a kid and sitting in the classroom going, what the heck am I going to do with a protractor?
Right.
I will never be using this thing again.
Right.
But when you have this type of experience where you get out there and when you have your teachers on board and familiar faces come to your neighborhood, your
Right.
cul-de-sac, your parking lot, your school area, and say, let's just make some fun out of this. Let's have fun
Absolutely.
today.
Yeah.
We're not in the classroom. We're
Right.
doing something bold. And I think it's unique because Berkeley County has always been a wonderful partner of ours, the school district, the county, and also now through the STEM endeavor,
Right.
you all are paving the way for
Absolutely.
how STEM can be taught in the state of South Carolina.
Absolutely. And I think the work and life skills part of it, we talk about having fun, but the kids are going to be critically thinking. They're going to be problem solving. They're going to be coming up with new ways to do things. And those sometimes are more important than anything else that I think that we can teach our kids, because when you're looking for careers and people in the jobs and work field, I mean, that's a lot of the skills that they're looking for.
Correct. You know, at Google, I have a teacher. My aunt was a teacher, and she always used to say, you don't want people looking on your paper. And I'm like, at Google, we're always looking on each other's paper.
Right.
A lot of our tools and products are designed for collaboration.
Absolutely.
So if you're in Drive and using Drive, and you're using Touch, and if you're using Gmail, and it's designed in a way that you can clearly see information flow.
Right.
And so hopefully, this is self-serving. Hopefully one day we'll be able to, hire that future Googler here in South Carolina.
Absolutely.
And as you can see by the truck, you have our other partner who's HomeTel. We use them at our site, and they've been a great partner with us when it comes to different education efforts.
Right.
I think we have a good friend in the superintendent, the school board, and also with your CTO, Diane Driggers, who has
Absolutely.
been on the front lines working on getting this as an
Absolutely.
opportunity for the young people
Right.
here in Berkeley County.
Absolutely. And we're hoping to be able to bring all these wonderful skills. Coding is going to be a big part of it when it comes to robots and stuff like
Yay!
that. So, and coding is so important, I think, in a lot of different areas. So,
Correct.
What at Google, or how is coding used at Google and other careers that you guys see?
Well, coding is essential. I mean, I think when folks say and hear STEM, it takes many definitions for many folks. For us, we like to focus on the coding part of
Right.
it. It's what the software engineers are doing,
Right.
and it's what they're doing by using their skills to address any type of problem. How do you use tech? How do you use engineering to solve a problem, to solve an
Absolutely.
issue? Here I'm with the site manager who came out today to experience this as well. And when I came and saw the van, like we were coming down the main street, we're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
There's the STEM mobile.
Yeah.
And hopefully the type of excitement that I have, but upon seeing it for the first time, I think these kids in the different community will enjoy it
Absolutely.
as much.
Yeah, we had a great day today at Berkeley Intermediate, and the kids came out and did some things. And we're coding with Ozobots and colors. We're coding with blocks. We're
Mhm.
coding with nano robots and now robots and all kinds of
Mhm.
great stuff. So we're
Yeah,
super
and-
excited about all the opportunities. So.
Yeah, and Berkeley County is a leader. I mean, when it came to Rolling Study Halls, it started here. Rolling Study Halls is a program that we worked on with the school district that puts Wi-Fi on school buses. And the design is such that if a child doesn't have access to internet access at home, they can get their work done on the school bus. At the end of the school day, a teacher, if they so chose, could hop on the school bus, help with homework. And that was a first for the
Absolutely.
state.
Right.
And now you're continuing your first in the state with this STEM mobile.
Absolutely. Well, we really appreciate everything and all the support you guys are giving us, and continue the partnership as we move forward.
Yeah, and we are excited too, and we're just so happy to be here and happy to be a benefit to the folks of Berkeley County.
Well, thank you for taking the time to
Thank
speak
you.
with me. Absolutely.
Have a good one.
You too. All right. Welcome to the Innovation Squadcast podcast. I really appreciate you being here. Why don't you introduce yourself to everybody for us? So.
I'm Gina Schuler. I'm the Vice President of Marketing for Home Telecom here in Moncks Corner.
Absolutely. And we really appreciate you guys being a sponsor for this amazing truck that we've been able to put together with also we partnered with Google on this, and talk about that partnership and how that's been going.
Yes, we were very excited to be a part of this. Our part of it was not quite as large as Google's, but we were able to work with the high school students who had designed the logo for the truck.
Nice.
And then we worked with them on the design of the wrap, and then was able to fund the wrapping.
Excellent.
And then extra T-shirts and swag items. But this is the second partnership we've had with Google in order to help the school district.
Right. And we know that your CEO was real big into education.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially rural education.
You're right.
Yeah. The cross area is very important to him. We've done lots to make sure all the students in the cross area have free access to internet. And Google was able to help us do that as well.
Absolutely. And with this truck, we're going to be able to get out all the different schools in Berkeley County and bring all this wonderful technology and different access. So when you're looking at careers and out there, and what are you expecting kind of for students to come out of high school, graduating with certain skills? How can technology and computers help with that?
Well, especially in our industry at Home Telecom, everything is computers now.
Yeah.
They have to know how to do programming for our billing, for our switching, for the fiber optics going into homes, programming the Wi-Fi even in homes.
Right.
All of the video services we sell now as streaming platforms.
Yeah.
So any kind of computer knowledge is a must in the industry today.
Absolutely. And then biggest thing we're also going to work on is collaboration and critical thinking and problem solving. Does that happen a lot in the industry?
Absolutely. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had a complete outage where the voice went out in several areas, and we had to get together in a war room and just problem solve with AT&T and other providers just to figure out what had happened, because it ultimately ended up being a cut fiber and then also a bad unit in a computer system in Somerville. So, but I mean, it took a room full of smart people to problem solve and figure that out.
Absolutely. And those working life skills, working those in with the curriculum is something that the truck's going to provide for us. So
Yep. And I just think about the students again in the rural areas who would not have access to any kind of technology without this experience. And just the virtual reality and the 3D printing. It's amazing to be able to expose elementary school kids to that type of technology.
And the good thing too is that technology is going to be able to evolve with the truck. So as technology evolves, we'll be able to put that technology in the truck and get it to where it needs to be, and keep that cutting edge technology going. So.
Yeah, that's very exciting.
Yeah,
it's definitely different from my bookmobile when I was in school.
Yeah, definitely way different than what we had. And being able to do mobile podcasts and be able to talk to kids and talk to teachers and highlight the wonderful things that they're doing is something that we're also real excited about as well. So we really appreciate you coming and taking the time and helping support all this and the continued partnership that we'll have as we move forward.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
all
you.
Right. And so when we're talking about the purpose of, taking this truck and now what's moving forward, what do you guys envision as being the main purpose and moving forward and how we can help benefit the students of Berkeley County?
Yeah, I think some of the main purposes are really to help them begin thinking about some of those career connections, to be able to utilize technologies in many of the same ways that's being used in the career world, to think about those work and life skills, and to have some of those authentic tries at the engineering design process. So maybe they're trying to come up with a solution to a problem. And we all know that sometimes you don't get it right the first time. And so you might need to evolve and make some changes before moving forward, and help them understand that sometimes there's not just one answer or one solution to a problem. So have the tools that are available there for them to investigate and to come up with multiple solutions.
Absolutely.
On the truck, we have a robotic arm as an example of kind of a career connection and authentic, tool to work through the design thinking process. The arm is programmable. It's a very small scale version of what you may see in a factory,
right?
Humans working alongside of a robotic arm that does things repetitively or for them for whatever reason that may be. But this arm allows students to program it, so we can work with them to say, hey, let's try to, program this robotic arm to stack up some Legos.
Right.
Like maybe those Legos are boxes that need to be put on shelves in an Amazon warehouse. So getting them it's so easy to use, and it really allows for the, what we want in the design thinking process is students to engage in it, fail, and then work that cycle continuously. So this device allows them to, put a code in place, run the code. Oh, it didn't work. They observe that what's not working, and then they think through, how do I go and revise that and reiterate and do it again. So, and of course it's a real world thing, so that's just one example of something that we have access for students.
And I love Jimmy always says, work the problem, work the problem.
Work the problem.
Yeah.
Yep, that's my favorite thing when kids are problem solving, critically thinking. I think that's one of the most important things that, that they can have. I remember we were sitting at a teacher forum and we were, asking the career, we sit down with a bunch of business leaders and like, what skills do you want these students to have when they leave? And they said they want problem solving. They want critical thinking. Yeah. That's the most important skill. And I think that the ITOW truck is going to be able to provide a lot of opportunities for that. So
it's engaging too. I mean, that's part of the thing, working the problem can sometimes be tough because you lose interest in it.
Right.
And then it's like, I don't want to try again. But the tools that we have, the resources that we have on the truck are engaging and they're fun.
Yep.
Fun helps to hold that engagement. And then the longer you can hold them engaged in something, the longer you can keep them in that cycle of, do better, fail, try it again. You'll get it. So that's what we're really excited about, the technologies that we have on here. Some of the kids haven't even seen it.
Right.
Yeah. So. One thing we want to make sure that people walk away really understanding is, although this truck is bright and shiny and has the latest and the greatest, we really want them to know that there's a true purpose behind it, that we want kids to be able to have those experiences. And as we're moving into schools and working with teachers, we want to be able to make connections to what they're learning and help it become more engaging with the use of technology, help them begin to see possibilities of careers and connections to what they're doing right there in the classroom, whether it's connecting to a South Carolina standard or working life skills or the design engineering process.
And, part of the goal of the truck too was, with regards to that career connection piece is, we have a truck, yes, that we can bring things to the students in the school, but we also now have a vehicle that we can go to community events that may have some of our, our business partners at.
Right.
So we can better partner with some of our local businesses that are going to ultimately be employing these students in careers someday.
Right.
And then, kind of work in collaboration with them now. Much easier. This truck is a mobile classroom.
Right.
It runs on a generator. We can just roll up to a parking lot in the middle of anywhere and have internet connection and power and do everything that we could do at a school as well.
Cool.
So,
and it has the flexible space that can be reloaded with whatever types of technologies that the students need.
Yeah, and as technology evolves, we'll be able to kind of evolve with it and keep that updated, which I think is going to be something exciting that and bring it to all the different schools. So when can schools expect to kind of see the ITOW truck start rolling up? Do we have a plan in place yet?
A lot of requests coming in already.
Well, we unveiled Tuesday night at the board meeting.
Yep.
And then we went to a school as well, Berkeley Intermediate School, and we have the Innovation Summit coming up on the 31st of March.
Okay.
And so it'll be a great introduction. We're also going to have it at the principals meeting as well. So then people kind of understand the purpose and begin making those connections.
Gotcha.
But they'll actually, check out the innovative technology on wheels through a work order system. So they'll go in and do the request, and it'll have to be, done a couple of weeks ahead of time.
Right.
And then we'll connect with that teacher or that grade level team and really learn about what they're studying and being, really able to purposefully plan the visit. So everyone's involved and that the kids are making connections to what's going on in school, to what's going on in the truck as well.
That's
one
great.
of the goals too, that is, we don't want innovative practices and all of what we go through to just occur on the day the truck's there.
Right.
Absolutely.
We want to make sure that, like Priscilla was saying, we work before the truck is there so that we can make the absolute most of the day when the truck is out with the school, but we also want to build that capacity so that when the truck rolls out, innovation is not rolling out with it. That we leave something behind with regards to, actionable things that teachers can continue to do with students. We're going to build excitement when we're there. We don't want that excitement to leave just because the truck is gone. So, that's why it's real important that we partner with those teachers ahead of time before the truck gets there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to kind of imagine the possibilities even further about, what else can ITOW bring to the schools and provide that information to you guys.
Yeah.
So
this was a huge team effort.
Yes, it was a team effort.
Everyone from the innovative learning coordinators to the Office of Technology, we all really collaborated together. We had help with procurement and other things. So just a great shout out to the whole Berkeley County team. We really appreciate them, and that partnership just made all of this, able to happen.
Absolutely. We are here with members of the Innovation and Learning team, and super excited about, obviously, the ITOW truck. And really, we're talking about imagining the possibilities. And so what do you kind of see as the possibilities and things that we can bring to students and teachers in Berkeley County with this truck?
And I think as us being previous teachers, it's all about that instructional planning piece before the truck arrives, because we can roll up and have the excitement and the joy, but if we're not tying it back to standards and learning, there's going to be some missteps and misalignment. So I think it goes back to a lot of that pre-planning before we get there. What's our why when we get there?
Like it.
Yeah, and the excitement that, we have the excitement going with the kids, but then how do we translate that into like work and life skills and the jobs that they can have when they get older?
Absolutely.
And those they don't know what's available for them until they start playing with it and like, wow, people do this for a living, so just adding that excitement.
Yeah. I know you saw a lot of excitement, obviously, with Berkeley, and you were mostly working with him. Talk about some of his reactions and some of the, ways that we could probably integrate Berkeley into some of the technology and curriculum and stuff like that.
So people who don't know, Berkeley, and he is not on the table with us. He is taking a nap on the truck.
I know.
But it's one of our new robotics, and it is probably maybe 3 feet tall, but it will mimic all human behavior with dexterity and moving on his own. And kids were very excited just to see the different kind of technology that we were bringing out with him. But as we were talking and helping with teachers, and there's so many ways it can support learning and standards.
Right.
You can measure, you need him to walk forward so many feet, so many meters, and then pull in geometry. He needs to make a 45-degree turn one way or the other. Another cool thing with him is there's a camera in between on his face somewhere. So when you're on the computer and you can see the point of view from his view. So if he's looking at somebody, you're like, oh, that's Jimmy. What could that story look like? So it could be a point of view story.
Yeah.
Let's code him, and now let's watch the video and see what kind of story could we create. There's dialogue features. There's just so much. The more I kind of started talking with teachers, I'm like, oh, and this, and this. So I think it goes back to what their standard is and how can we help kind of go through that engineering design process. Here's where you are. Here's what you're doing. Have you considered these things? And here's what we can offer to help make planning a little bit more dynamic.
Very nice. And then you were working with the 3D printing, kind of laser cutting. Mm-hmm. What ways do you think teachers could, imagine the possibilities when we're using that kind of technology?
Well, I think when students start to see the things that are created, the things that they buy in the store, or even the times where there are students that the arm breaks on their glasses and they need to wear their glasses. So it's like, oh, well, let's just 3D print some.
Right.
You can do that, so and it goes back to that design thinking and, what do I need to do to fix this problem?
Right.
And then we were also doing coding inside with Coding with Google.
Yep.
And I think for the younger kids, before they even get to our bigger, more complicated robot, we've got Dash, and we've got Dot, we've got Ozobots, and all those are beginning coding. So it makes it a lot easier for the younger ones to start to understand it. So by the time they do get a little bit older and things are a little bit more complicated, then they can translate what they already learned.
Absolutely. Because Ozobots you can do just with markers and colors, and which is coding, and that's great for the littles and things like that, and then build on those skills as they move forward to Dash and Q and different things like that. So Really cool. All right. Thank you guys for being here. Really appreciate it. All right, we are imagining the possibilities even further in the ITOW truck and driving innovation. When you guys were working with the truck, you had Dash. Talk about how you were able to kind of integrate Dash into some of the curriculum. I saw with the little headbands and made them into flappers. And
Absolutely. So one of the 5th grade standards is the teacher was talking about the Roaring 20s. And so we dressed up Dash in like a little flapper with that little hat.
Yeah.
Some flapper beads and that kind of stuff, just to kind of put him in character or her in character. And then we had the kids code the Charleston. So the Charleston was one of the dances that came out of the Roaring 20s. And so that was kind of cool. They, for them to get to experience like how to do the Charleston. And so some of the teachers were over there showing the kids the actual steps.
Nice.
And then they were having to code Dash to do the Charleston. So it was kind of neat because you really have to know the steps in order to be able to code the robot to do the exact same thing.
And so then they got to go up and forward. Did it always work the first time, or did they always have to kind of work the code a little bit?
It was kind of funny. They would do a couple and then test it and then go back and say, nope. So one of the things with Dash is you can either like if I want it to go forward, I can make it go forward in a certain amount of centimeters, and then also speed. So some of them were going, way too far, so it didn't really look like the dance, so they were having to go back again, that design and engineer go back and say, okay, it went too far, so let me change the distance, or it went too slow, so let me change the speed. So it was neat to watch them go back and forth and kind of have it play or actually run the code. And then if it worked right, then they would add to the dance each time. And we got to talk about loops and how in that dance it did the same movements a couple times in a row. So we talked about looping the codes and that kind of stuff. So it was really neat to see them
and see those problem solving and work and life skills coming and having fun and engaged in a way.
Exactly. And really, I didn't have to tell them how. They just jumped in, and we kind of talked about, all right, how do you get him started or her started? And then they went from there, and it was neat to see them ask the other ones, well, how did you get him to do that? So
and then you see that collaboration,
right? And then they could add voice or lights and sounds to it. So they were really excited once they got the dance movements down. They wanted to add some kind of voice, and so it was really cool. It was really neat.
Nice.
And piggybacking off of what you just said, I was working with the Ozobots, and we did a lot of that engineering design process. They would code it to do something. I was working with a class who was working on the ocean floor. So they had to draw out the ocean floor, label it, and then code it to actually, follow the path of it. And boy, they went back and forth back to the drawing board multiple times because we used Ozoblockly. They could have easily just used a marker, but they were working in teams and using Ozoblockly, which was the block coding, similar to what you use for Dash. So they had to keep going back to the drawing board. And it was like they weren't frustrated. They were super excited to see, how can I make this better? Oh, I'm so close. Let me keep trying it.
Yeah. And you saw that too, probably with Little Bits at your station at the truck as well, when it comes to that problem solving and thinking skills.
Yeah. So Little Bits and working with circuitry and talking a little bit about the students in different grade levels, they all know a little bit about circuits. And then to see the things they created, Little Bits also has some task cards that you can create some, challenges, but they were super, super excited to create their own and see how, when everything is connected correctly and the circuit is closed, how it can work or not.
Yeah, I was over there looking, and they would try to build like this very long circuit, and it didn't work. We got to start slowly and build the process and work your way through it to get it to do what you want to do at the very end. But it took the step process. They sometimes had to take it all apart and start over again, which was really cool to see. So
going back to the drawing board again and fixing it and making it better, and then having it work.
All right.
And there are so many things that you can do with robotics. I mean, these are just two examples, but we've seen life cycles, especially with Dash and Ozobot. You can, the students having to explain the life cycle, and so they're learning that in school, and then we show up with this fancy truck, and then they're putting it to use, and then what comes after is that explanation, that like deeper learning. If they have to code something, then you really have to understand it to be able to put that into practice.
Absolutely.
Right. We did that a little bit with math as well. And then to get an email from the teacher afterwards saying, so-and-so wanted to, use Ozo Blockly. When are you coming back? Because they wanted to code this. They were coding different shapes and, like how many sides does it have? So they actually got the Ozobot to code the shape of, they chose a pentagon and they coded it to count to 5 as well. So, they
Nice.
threw in a little extra step saying like, this is a five-sided shape. So yeah. But when you get that back from the teachers that, and that it's just not, oh, here we're on the truck doing it. And then once we get back to class, we're done thinking about it. No, they're continuously thinking about it. And they're also thinking, okay, what else am I learning about? What are my next standards coming up? How can we incorporate some of these robotics?
And that's what the beauty of the truck is, that the possibilities are endless, and that's what we hope to bring to all the schools at Berkeley County.
Yes.
All right, thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thanks.
So we're continuing to imagine the possibilities, and joined here by Jeremy Osborne, who was heading up the VR station, which was a very popular station at the truck when I was talking to the kids. So kind of talk about what are the possibilities with VR in the classrooms, and what could teachers expect, and how could they use it?
Yeah, so when we bring those VR systems out, I think really the biggest thing that you're going to really find is being able to do things and go places that you typically can't go to. Talking about virtual field trips and being able to experience things that most of our kids would never really be able to do. You can look at, like studying about animals and being able to visit animal habitats. One of the things the kids really liked when we were out there was the solar system. And, we learn about the solar system, you see models of the solar system, all those kind of things. But that app allows you to go right into the solar system, and you can teleport right up to the different planets. You can grab onto those planets and actually manipulate them and move them around, so you can see, the different composition of the planets and things like that. So it really does give you something that you can't get just by, watching a video or, looking at pictures. So the virtual part of it's really good.
Is there a place that they can find some of what are the options that we have? Because I know it's not like where we could pull from everything. I know Google Earth is a big one, so that anything with that is kind of VR ready. Anything else that they could pull for some resources?
So I think the best way to do that would really be to reach out to your ILC, and during that planning phase, we can go through and pull out different things and really check them to make sure that they're meeting standards and they're things that are going to be appropriate for the classes and stuff like that. So definitely, that planning before bringing the truck out and getting the kids into the VR is really important.
Absolutely. And that pre-planning phase is going to be very vital when it comes to the truck, to make sure that we're providing the best opportunities and tying in that curriculum the best that we possibly can. And so we continue on in the idea of imagining the possibilities. And so, leave us a message or answer the question is, what are the possibilities for the ITOW truck? How could the ITOW truck elevate your learning, elevate the curriculum, and elevate the engagement inside of the schools? All right. Thank you. Bye. What kind of careers do you think use robots?
Making cars.
Making cars? Yeah.
I'd say
airplanes,
moving boxes, so they could
moving boxes, right?
Test stuff so robots could go into. If people think it's a bomb or something, they can go and try it out.
They do use them for that. They do go to Mars and space, absolutely. Right, so you can see how robots play again an important part in a lot of different careers out there, and that's one of the things. Hopefully, we can with the ITOW truck. Yep, I'm sure that robots are involved with making lots of different products out there. But again, so part of the career, the ability to code them and make sure that they're doing exactly what you want them to do. Robotics are definitely something that you're going to do. What do you have to do to the robots, though?
You have to control them.
How? You know how?
With a remote.
Remote or how else can you control them?
Some type of technology. Computer.
What do you have to do?
So you have to
program it or code it, right? So think about whenever you're going to have robots or any kind of that, you're going to have to code them to make sure that you get them to do exactly what you want them to do. You have to think your way through it, right? And you think they're always going to do it exactly how you want them the first time? No, right? So you got to use some problem solving, critical thinking, right? We're at, again, Berkeley Intermediate School. Got the ITOW truck here. We're doing a little podcasting. What station did you guys just come from?
The robot.
Oh, that's the best. That's the one probably the most
cute.
Yeah.
He's cute. I want him to be mine.
What was he doing?
he was doing disco and some yoga
Okay.
and
Karate.
football. And
How did he do all that though? What did they have to do to
they
him?
programmed
it or what? Code. Absolutely. Imagine the possibilities of what you could create,
I did
right?
3D print something last year during school.
Yeah. What was that?
We had this little project. One of my friend's moms came in. She works for Berkeley County School District, and she brought in her 3D printer, and we all had to draw like a butterfly, and she 3D printed the butterfly.
Very cool.
Unfortunately, mine did not come out because
No?
I didn't design
Right.
it.
Yeah. So then you'd have to kind of go with the design process, and that's okay that it didn't work the first time, and you could redesign it and come and try it again, and that's where that problem solving and critical thinking come in, which are very important work and life skills. So I like to hear that. We always love the design process. It's okay if it doesn't work the first time. Always get to try it again. You like Berkeley? What did Berkeley do?
Berkeley sat down, played a saxophone, and threw an imaginary football.
Through imaginary football, yeah. And how did he do all those things? Coding, yes.
Berkeley got programmed.
Yeah. What kind of jobs you out there think require coding? There's Google. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I really appreciate you guys being here, and hopefully when the truck comes back out, we'll have even more stuff for you guys to learn from. All righty. Thank you. Say bye.
Bye.